think your nose quite well equipped the Maori's tradition.
Touching noses. Let's do it. So, His Holiness, can we do it again once more?
Okay. In front of them.
Okay.
Since the Maoris have a certain tradition, touching nose. So then those people, small nose, and before touching hair, like this nose. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please sit down. Welcome. Although we met, I think a few times before, now this is my home, almost now last 60 years. My special sort of greetings and welcome to my home. And we are spiritual brothers, sisters. Today's world, in spite highly developed, highly developed material thing, but still we are facing, I usually call, some kind of emotional problem. Obviously, many problems, some you see due to the global warming, that beyond our control. But then many problems, including killing with weapon. When we born without a weapon, but mother's milk. So these all, I think, we too much sort of emphasis on material value. Not much pay attention about our basic human value. That's human love, human compassion. So a lot of problem which we are facing, humanity facing, is actually our own creation. Some scientists say basic human nature is more compassionate. And this physical, since we are social animal, so this physical, more compassionate mind, very good for our physical health. Constant anger, constant fear, hatred is actually eating our immune system. So we too much emphasis material value, not much pay attention about our inner value. And then we too much emphasis on we and they. Even religions also use division, we and they, and killing. And kasa, nationality, my country, their country. Young child, they no bother what religious faith, what nationality. so long, with smile, play together, consider that's important. We become older, and then the smile not sufficient. We have to know what's their faith, what's their nationality. And then furthermore, if I make friendship, and what I will get benefit, mainly money matter. So that is the source of problem. Basically, we are compassionate social animal. Nobody wants suffering. Yet, a lot of suffering, our own creation. I usually say telling people, I believe also, the many problems which we too much emphasis, differences, that is secondary level. Basic level, we are same human being. So all those problems which created by too much emphasis on secondary level of differences, now the only remedy is we must go deeper level, we are same human being. Different religion, different nationality is secondary, not much important. Okay. So you now, as a spiritual leader or spiritual teacher, very good. Now we have the sort of responsibility beside your own different religion. All the essence of spirituality is warm-heartedness. That's important.
Yes. Your Holiness, after our last meeting in New Jersey, we've been looking at the causes of disease, and now it's very obvious that 95% of all chronic inflammation in the body, which is connected to heart disease, autoimmune illness, cancer, and even Alzheimer's, there's inflammation in the body. Inflammation in the brain, inflammation in the immune system. And when people practice meditation, mindfulness awareness, when people are practicing
yes.
meditation, mindfulness, the inflammation in the body comes down. And with compassion, love, kindness, joy, equanimity, inflammation comes down. So what you were saying about being warm here and having empathy and compassion and love and joy and equanimity, the divine emotions, actually heals the body. 95% of chronic illness is not due to gene mutations. Only 5% is due to gene mutations. The rest is linked to inflammation in the body. So
I appreciate all your work, and each individual, we are part of the 7 billion human being. So we are same. The different name, kasa mean kasa, Deepak Chopra, one individual. But deeper way, we are just same human being. I'm Dalai Lama, and some people usually say His Holiness Dalai Lama. But actually, we all mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. We are part of the 7 billion human being. Since we are part of the human being or social animal, so we, each individual, can make some contribution for better humanity, happier humanity. At least, I think now this 21st century should not be like a 20th century. 20th century, too much killing. And those brilliant scientists You see, their wonderful brain is used making weapon, how to kill human being, including nuclear weapon. And according to some historian, they say in 20th century, about 200 millions of people killed through violence. If that amount of killing, violence, really create better world, that's not the case. I feel still pockets, some killing. These are traces of old 20th centuries sort of the habit thinking. Whenever some problem, they always think weapon, how to solve this by force. This old thinking. I believe, and also I telling people, now this 21st century should be century of dialogue. So long we human being there, smart brain there, some different ideas, different interests, always there. Actually, I think we human being, smile is common. But since our brain is so sophisticated, the smile also, you see, we can divide sarcastic smile, or artificial smile, or diplomatic smile. Some Chinese always with a smile, big smile, but artificial, diplomatic smile. So since our brain is so sophisticated, so I think the child smile, genuine smile. Like me, now over 83 years old, you see, sometimes you see artificial smiles. So I think our brain, our education, sometimes I think create some kind of artificial life. That's not good. Now, the 21st century, when differences come, consider them as the human brothers, sisters, and try to solve the problem through dialogue. So this 21st century should be century of dialogue. Like that. So I have three commitments. Number one commitment as a human being. And try to share how to become happy individual. Happiness not depend on drug or alcohol or money, but real way of thinking. This is the ultimate source of happiness, joyfulness. And also not necessarily based on religious belief, without belief. Just think our human brain properly on the basis of scientific finding. Not necessarily pray to God or pray to Buddha. In this respect, Buddha, I think, quite wise. He mentioned Buddha, you see, cannot remove the human being's suffering by his hand. And Buddha cannot wash the negative emotion of human being or sentient being. Nor, you see, he give us his own inner peace. No, nothing. Only thing is, he show some method how to bring inner peace according to his own experiences. That's good. Buddha, as a human being, not as a god. Of course, the theistic religion, everything in God's hand. That's also good. What is the main message of God is love. The definition of God itself, infinite love. Wonderful. according sort of theistic religion, God is creator. So our creator as our father, infinite love. So we all children of that God. So we all brothers, sisters. And our God, infinite love. So we children of that kind of God. So we should be more compassionate brothers, sisters. Wonderful. Including some Buddhist sort of deities, the Hindu deities, some are very wrathful. One time I met one Japanese who visited Tibet, and he's seeing many temples. Then he came here. He asked me, why Buddha's teaching is compassion. In Tibet, many temples, particularly a little bit dark temple, some wrathful deities there. So one occasion he lost his sleep because of fear. So some, including some Buddhist deities, are quite wrathful. So these are some different purpose. It is okay. But basically, all religion teach us love, forgiveness, tolerance. And then today, I think among 7 billion human beings, about 1 billion non-believer. These are also human brothers, sisters. Whether they accept or not, they're actually the children of God. So they also, you see, need human love. So according in our Indian tradition, secular, individual, whether believer or non-believer, or this religion or that religion, but all should be more warm-hearted person, more compassionate person. Over 3,000 years in this country, the teaching or practice of karuna, compassion, and with that, non-violence, ahimsa, over 3,000 years. So, this ancient Indian sort of tradition, Indian thought, non-violence and infinite love, these two things, that also is a secular way. Disregard, no differences, individual, believer or non-believer, and believe this or that, we all same human being. We all need practice of non-violence in order to carry non-violence or sincerely compassion, respect other. Okay.
Anyone have any questions? I can pass the microphone.
Question and argument.
I'm going to pass the microphone.
Hi. Thank you, Your Holiness. So grateful to be here with you in your loving presence. My wife to my left started crying when you came into the room with joy. My question is, how does one find their own Dharma?
I think, like medicine, we cannot say, pick up one medicine and say, this is best medicine. You cannot say. Judging the patient's condition and age, then can say, your case, this medicine is best medicine. So similarly, religion. Firstly, I think, as I mentioned earlier, one of my commitments is promotion of religious harmony. So in order to promote religious harmony, mutual respect is key factor. So with that belief, I never say Buddhism is best. For me, Buddhism is best. For people, individual mental disposition, different religion is more effective. So therefore, I think, firstly, we should read more books, more different sort of tradition, I feel. Like Nalendra Master, we are follower, or I myself, we are student of Nalendra tradition. So these paintings are Nalendra Masters. So their text, their writing is our sort of textbook. So we study. So there are different philosophy. So this great teacher sort of also they argue or teach certain philosophical views, and then another one criticize that the argument. This is very good, very useful. Just one source and believe, faith, not good. Then our human brain, you see, there is real sort of potential to analyze. So then just to believe one thing, then waste it, you see, this brain. So look, many different things, and then analyze by yourself. Fully utilize human intelligence. Then you find, this teaching, when you find some more convincing, more effective, your brain, particularly your destructive emotion, then you can say, for me, this sort of tradition is best. Otherwise, we cannot say.
Your Holiness.
So I emphasize study, very important. I think God creates 2 eyes, 2 ears. So that means, you see, you should look wide away. You should listen this side. If just 1 ear, 1 eye, then just this one. Yes.
Your Holiness, thank you. Very grateful for you having us here today. My question is there a leader in the world today who you admire, who lives with compassion, leads with compassion, love, tolerance, maybe more than one, a man or woman that you see doing what you're talking about today?
Of course, India's Mahatma Gandhiji in modern time, although I never met. In my dream, I met Mahatma Gandhiji when I was in Lhasa. He, I think, thoroughly educated in England, great lawyer. But after he returned, he practiced India's 1,000-year-old ahimsa, and including his dress, like ordinary Indian. No court suit or tie like that. So that I really admire. And then India's first president, Rajendra Prasad. Really wonderful, really wonderful. Then the late Kasa, Willy Brandt Kasa, Willy Brandt, the German chancellor. I had some admiration. During Cold War, it's a delicate situation. He kept some contact with Brezhnev. It's good. The 2 blocs, NATO and Kasade, Warsaw Pact, and ready to shoot under such circumstances, is try to reach out. That's good, I feel. Then present leaders, I think, too much sophisticated. Yes, next question.
It's such an honor to be in your presence. My question for you is, how can we stay with an open heart of compassion and forgiveness when we are being wronged? When we are being wronged, when someone is wronging us, there is injustice.
If somebody hurts you, if somebody
How do we stay?
is wrong to you, how do you exercise compassion?
Now, firstly, as I mentioned earlier, I emphasize I am one of the 7 billion human beings. No differences. On that level, just human being. Not emphasis, I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist, I'm Dalai Lama. No, I'm just human being. So this feeling, tremendous help. My own sort of way of life or way of thinking. With this belief, wherever I go, whenever I met someone, I always feel we are same. So immediately teasing them, then they also respond. So if I too much emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, I'm Buddhist, I'm Tibetan, then you see, particularly too much emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, then on the world, only one Dalai Lama. So I get then too much emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, then that's create basis of loneliness. But I emphasize I'm human being. Then wherever I go, meet people, human brothers, sisters. I think, may repeat that story. And I always see, because of and in New Day, when I meet some people, I always smile and sometimes teasing, if the other side, including police, some uniformed police, when I smile, not smiling. Then I do this. Then they smile. So, in one occasion in Delhi, you see, early morning, before my breakfast, I just outside my room, and Indian police always there. So few police there. So I firstly, I salute. Firstly, this way. Secondly, this way. So then I asked them one occasion, I think three of them, Indian police. I asked them, what do you think of my age? Then they say, 70, 60, 70. Then I told them, no, I'm no over then, few years ago, I'm over 80 years old. They were so surprised. Then I show my teeth. Very good teeth. Then I show my lip, quite red. Seems use lipstick. So then I, show them. Then all the sort of police, the three of them, all smile, laughing. That way, if I remain, I'm Buddhist, I'm a holy person, and remain distant, no use. Isn't it? So we, according to my own experience, you see, oneness, thinking oneness, we are same human brothers, sisters. It's very useful for me. And similarly, wherever I go and talk people, I always say talking, we are same human being. Everybody want happiness, do not want suffering. So this conviction automatically prevent harming others. They also, like me, do not want suffering. So on that basis, because of the meaningless, harm them, must respect. Occasionally some disagreement, like Chinese, we deliberately, you see, thinking, those some Chinese officials who give order, shoot Tibetan. I deliberately, you see, thinking these people as a human being, out of their ignorance, when they are young, not that kind of thing. But gradually, wrong information, you see, brainwash, and then they become like that. So instead of anger, should feel pity, compassion. So basic human nature, as I mentioned earlier, very good one, compassionate nature. Because we are social animal, individual people's survival depend on the community. One individual, no matter how powerful, just remain one individual, cannot survive. One story, my father, of course, when I become Dalai Lama and I stay in Potala, so my family, the Tibetan government built some special sort of home. So my father, quite short temper. One day, my father lost temper and scolded some of the servant who is serving. So next morning, all this, the concerned sort of servant, Kasoda,
Ran away.
run away. So that morning, my family, my father, mother, no breakfast. So like that, one individual, their individual survival entirely depend on the community. And now modern time, each sort of community or each nation, their survival depend on rest of the world. So the reality, and on top of that, global warming. No make distinction, this nation or that continent, that sort of believer, same. So now time come, we have to think oneness of 7 billion human beings and ready to share each other, helping each other. So short term, I think if my father, the sort of angry face remain more days and then more days without breakfast, or then he can't survive. So in order to his own interest, he have to smile. So people, usually our sort of irritation will not develop unknown people. Only those people who knows, and your neighbor. So you have to live side by side, these people. So today, due to certain sort of small reason, you feel angry. But think, I have to live side by side, these people. Days and years. So think that line. Then, as I mentioned earlier, at least artificial smile. Yes.
Yes. if kindness and compassion are taught to children, so is evil. So are children inherently good?
Karsa. What question?
She says children are taught compassion, but they're also taught violence, children. So is there evil in the world?
I think, as I already mentioned, ahimsa, non-violence. Non-violence, just empty word, not sufficient. In order to develop non-violent world, we have to think seriously, selling weapon, eventually making weapon. I think eventually this should stop. Not by order, but by people, some kind of people's movement. One, Costa Rica's president.
Former president, Oscar Arias.
Once he also expressed some kind of limitation or some kind of check, weapon selling weapon. Then eventually nothing happened. Then a few years ago, one Nobel laureate meeting in Rome, after we heard there were some specialists about nuclear weapon. If nuclear weapon use the so-called nuclear window or something, terrible. So then I express, now it is not sufficient just to express free nuclear weapon is not sufficient. We must make timetable. Within 2 years, within 3 years, this world should free any nuclear weapon. I express that nothing happened. I thought, you see, some kind of Nobel laureate, you see, they make some kind of expression. Within 2 years, 3 years, the world should be free, any nuclear weapon. Then, meantime, worldwide, some kind of movement to achieve free nuclear free world. But nothing happened. Now this year, I think in Delhi, I'm hoping with sort of headed by Indian nuclear, Indian Muslims, the world Nobel Peace. I know him very well. So I think I am going to discuss with him. Then eventually create, organize one Nobel laureates meeting. Obama since my first sort of meeting with him, we developed some kind of special feeling. And also President Bush Jr. Wonderful. So I don't like formality. So when I met President Bush, some cookies come. And then I express, oh, which one better? Then he immediately, oh, this is better, this is better. So I felt he acting like a human being. President Clinton, I admire, but more formality. So later I told him, also the close friendship feeling, in order to develop that, take time. First meeting, more formal. Second meeting, a little closer. Third meeting, more closer. I told him, he smiled. President Bush, not like that. Immediately we become sort of close friend. And Obama also like that. Wonderful. So one occasion Obama visited Delhi. So I especially went there and I met him. Then I told him, you are younger than me. So the world peace and the promotion of non-violence, so after me, you should carry. He promised. So I'm thinking, if we have some sort of meeting, some Nobel laureate, I think Obama, I think definitely invite and come, and some other Nobel laureate. So in any way, I think once failed at Rome meeting, but I feel we should make effort continuously. These things, not just sort of relying on leaders or even the United Nations, wonderful, but I think public level, some movement, I think very important. And especially India, 1,000-year-old non-violence concept there. So India should make some kind of effort, and also religious harmony. India, I think wonderful, all major religious traditions live together here, no problem. Occasionally some problem. Better sometimes politicians clash. Yes. But basically, I think all major religious traditions live in this country. So, respect each other. Wonderful. So India, I think, should be more active regarding promotion of religious harmony, one. Then promotion of ahimsa. With that, demilitarized world. I am now 84-year-old. So next 10 years, I will be more active. After 10, then 94, then too old. Too old. So, as an individual person, no, not much time, only 10 years. So, my brothers, sisters, please now, we should be active to bring happy world, peaceful century, step by step. Okay. Next question.
His Holiness, again, we are honored, all of us, to be not only in your presence, but in your home. So thank you for having us. My question is, how best to help or care for someone who does not want or think that they need the help? So how do you best help or care for someone that doesn't think they want or need the help?
Yeah. Raw 고야지를
Raw milk 대번 매개지가 안 됐어.
더블 매워.
나.
더블 매워.
대번 매지 그냥 수수로 같이 와서 안 됐어.
I think, frankly speaking, it is foolish. If they help a more artificial way, then different matter. But sincerely, you see, willing to help, then I think it need. I mean, there's the question of confidence. People who spend many years in a community where too much artificial, then I think that kind of feeling, we can't blame. Suspect. If someone also asks, I want to help you, then immediate reaction, what his motivation, his or her motivation, exploiting me like that. So in such case, time factor is important. You see, the more time you sincerely showing your willingness to help, then days and weeks, then gradually conviction may develop, trust may develop. So need, I think, both sides more patience. Okay, I feel like that.
His Holiness, thank you. My question is that the world today is so materialistic. How do we bring compassion?
So much.
Too much materialistic.
What about, yes?
How do we bring compassion within us?
Oh. That is my main sort of also the concern. Existing education, so-called modern education, very much oriented about material value. That's a mistake. These days I'm expressing the hygiene of physical, including our education there. Even I think kindergarten level, hygiene of physical. Now similarly, we should include hygiene of emotion. So children say how to take your sort of healthy body, more play, more exercise, like that. And similarly, hygiene of emotion. When you face some kind of anger, fear, is how to do, how to tackle this emotion. Not talking about God, not talking about next life or these things. Simply, day-to-day life, how to keep peace of mind. That's hygiene of emotion. So then, I think, as I mentioned earlier, human nature, more compassionate. That's now scientists say. And one occasion, meeting with scientists, one scientist, you see, while he mentioning human nature is more compassionate, he showed one picture, one 6-month-old child, language not yet developed. So at that time, more nature, human nature is much more sort of intact, very fresh. Through language, then something different things come. So 6-month-old. So to that child, show one picture, one motion picture, one cartoon, 2 children. You see, one children is pushing one ball upward, and then another children is helping that person. So the sense of, sense of caring each other, right? More compassionate attitude. When that picture shows, seeing by that 6-month-old child smiling. I also there, that meeting. And then, you see, same cartoon, or the one child, you see, pushing the ball upward. Then another child come, pushing back. When that, you see, show to that 6-month-old child, the child itself, unhappy sort of expression. So, the scientists take conclusion, basic human nature loves also the compassion, the harmonious, not negative thing. And then more important is a constant anger, constant sort of fear is actually eating our immune system. Then our sort of daily experience, I think we all knows one day we face some problem and much sort of fear or much anger come. That night you may not get sound sleep. Isn't it? So the day you really lost your sort of peace of mind, full of anger, then your wife or husband, you see, because of the bring lunch. It seems to you the lunch also very bad, so I don't want. So that's the negative emotion created like that. So real problem not come from outside, but your own motivation, your own sort of emotion. So these things we can teach in school. The sort of what's the systematic way, how to take hygiene of emotion.
Hygiene of emotions.
Hygiene of emotion. Firstly, make clear which emotion is not only destroy peace of mind at the moment, but also destroy your health and destroy because of the happiness or friendly atmosphere in the home. This we can teach. Then further goes the ancient Indian sort of system about emotion. Wonderful, highly developed, over 3,000 years. Buddha himself, product of that tradition.
Yes.
So sometimes I sort of, maybe too much sort of, because prejudice way. Bias. I'm a student of ancient Indian knowledge. In 8th century, Tibetan emperor invited at that time, the topmost scholar and logician, Shantarakshita from Nalanda. He taught the Buddhist tradition according to Nalanda tradition. So we very much emphasis on reason, logical approach. So we always think, and Buddha himself, you see, mentioned, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So some of Nalanda masters, you see, they reject even Buddha's own teaching. If you accept this Buddha's teaching literally, it goes against reason, so we must reject. It's quite unique, isn't it? So many Nalanda masters, you see, they make distinction, Buddha's own teaching. This teaching we can accept literally. This teaching we cannot accept literally. They use reason. So now the Nalanda tradition emphasis reason. So that very much similar scientific research. Always research, investigate. Not just sort of acceptance. So some Chinese now scholar who follow who attracted Buddhism, some expressed the Nalanda tradition of Buddhism, which we practice, is scientific religion. It's true. Always reasoning. Through reasoning, some contradiction, we don't care. Like that. So therefore, so ancient Indian sort of psychology, really very rich, highly developed. So therefore, since now over 30 years, I have serious discussion with modern scientists, mainly cosmology and psychology, then physics, particularly quantum physics. Raja Ramana, yes. I think you know.
Yes.
Raja Ramana.
Yeah, I know.
The nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
Once he told me, quantum physics in the West, something new. In this country, in India, 2,600 years ago, already developed quantum physics. It is true. Some of the Nalanda masters writing quantum physics clearly mentioned. So therefore, they compare modern psychology, compare ancient Indian psychology, then modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. I really feel. So after sort of discussion with scientists in these four fields, cosmology, and neurobiology, and psychology, and physics, and these things. In this very room is a few occasions, some discussions. So after, at the beginning, when I developed desire, some discussion with scientists, I expressed this, some Buddhists, including some Tibetan scholars, they're a little bit cautious, or be careful, be careful. One American lady who follow Tibetan Buddhism, I asked her, and she told me, be careful, science is killer of religion. Then I reflect Buddha's sort of advice, and also these Nalendra's tradition. Investigate. Through investigation, if we find some contradiction, Buddha's own word, we should reject. So then I start discussion with the modern scientist. Then after more than 30 years, the experience, mutual learning, we learn a lot of useful information from them. And then for them, particularly psychology field and quantum physics in these fields, they learned a lot of information from our tradition, Buddhist tradition. So these days, I describe myself half Buddhist monk, half scientist.
So, Your Holiness, when we started this conversation, I was telling you about inflammation. The word inflammation means to be on fire. And you mentioned global warming. But war, global warming, disease in the body is all inflammation. And now there's all the evidence that it starts with anger, resentment, grievances, hostility, ultimately leading to depression and severe anxiety, causes inflammation in the mind, in the brain, in the immune system, in behavior, ultimately war, and even climate change is connected to inflammatory behavior originally. So treatment of disease is going in that direction. How to decrease the fire in the body, the inflammation in the body. And that could be now, according to many public health schools in the US and elsewhere, anger and inflammation and hostility should be a public health issue. Public health issue.
True. As I mentioned earlier, hygiene of emotion. Then the physical problem is some, of course, external germs or something. But many cases, because of too much sort of the disturbances in emotion, that eventually affect our body. And I think now scientists, till later part of 20th century, the scientists just accept brain. Beside brain, nothing. Now, later part of 20th century, including the famous the brain specialist, the Richard Davidson, Wisconsin University, through some experiment, now they realize beside brain, the mind. Of course, when we talk mind, there are grosser level, mind at the awakening time, when sensorial experiencing. That's a grosser level. Then dream state, the sensorial sort of consciousness no longer working, but mental level, more subtler. Then without dream, deep sleep, another sort of more subtler consciousness there. So some people, meditator, you see some experience these different level of consciousness. So when they meditate, deeper level, it actually affects our brain. So now, some scientists have already accepted that besides brain, there is something which affects our brain. So emotion, I think as a part of hygiene of emotion, I think we can include in our school sort of the education field how to build healthy body in order, particularly those, you see, because of the problem which directly link with emotion. In that respect, we can teach, we can explain, and these, although the ultimate sources from these are some ancient Indian tradition. Now, today, sometimes I jokingly tease Indian. That is, you see, this physical, not Indian physical, Tibetan physical. But you know, but my mind is I'm more Indian than you. We study from childhood all these ancient Indian sort of knowledge. The root text we learn by heart. And then each word, according commentary, again wrote by this Nalanda master, each word explained, and by teacher also. Then use a lot of sort of debate, dialectical way, debate. So we use extensively logical approach. So therefore, the ancient Indian sort of knowledge is concerned, I think we Tibetan have better than those Indian. I think you may be, I don't know whether exception or not. So you see, they, I think, follow the modern education introduced by Britisher. The British have no knowledge about ancient Indian knowledge. So now my latest commitment is I'm trying to revival of this ancient Indian knowledge in modern India.
Yes.
The reason these, you see, ancient Indian knowledge tackle our mind. This world need that. Consider not as a religion, but an academic subject. Subject of, because of the hygiene of physical, the health reason, and then logics, very good, very useful, sharpening our mind. I'm, as a student of ancient Indian Parman, logic. So whenever I heard something, the immediate reaction is why, how, always is this reaction. So then further investigation. Something I heard, I never say, yes, yes, yes. I never say that. Why? That's useful, isn't it? Yes. So there's an Indian tradition. Ancient Indian tradition, not modern Indian tradition. So I fully committed, try to revival of these ancient Indian knowledge. Reason, world need some of this knowledge. So then only India have the ability and opportunity to combine ancient Indian knowledge as your own tradition, then combined with modern education, combine these two things. No other country. So therefore, my latest commitment is try to revival of this ancient Indian knowledge in modern India. So then, I think during freedom struggle, Mahatma Gandhi's non-violent sort of struggle, some people may feel it is signs of weakness. But eventually, you see, people realize Mahatma Gandhi's non-violent struggle is wonderful. So South Africa, the Nelson Mandela, totally sort of follow Mahatma Gandhi's sort of way of struggle. And then Martin Luther King also is to follow like that. So therefore, I think India already made some contribution. Now, furthermore, these ancient Indian knowledge revive, then I think strictly secular way, nothing to do with religion. I think I think India can make some contribution regarding humanity. This I feel. So, thank you.
Thank you. We have some gifts, and they would like to present the show to you. Okay.
Paul, tell us,
Can I bring them?
okay.
Okay. So
Sorry,
sorry, we can pass them here, but there's some very special shamanic gifts for you and beads from our Veronica, and they'll show them to you afterwards, and we have a small donation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll take a group photo. Yes.
You can all come in line.